Hey, what's up guys? So this video is all about Armin Zola. So the 7-star Ascension journey in MCOC has been taking a very peculiar route.
Wow.
It made several headlines in the past 4 months since the launch, and with the release of Armin Zola as an ascendable character, I'm not gonna lie, the turn that Kabam took looks very ominous, especially for the spenders. So I thought to make a video listing out my 3 reasons on why the manner of release of 7-star Zola as an ascendable character is Kabam taking several steps in the wrong direction. Now I'm gonna start at the base. For the first reason, I would like to state that the release of Zola as an ascendable character contradicts the core concept of Ascension itself. Now why did I say that? So if you ask me, the reason why I was excited to see 7-star Ascension was mainly because it would give a fighting chance to the less important champions in the game. MCOC always had a group of overpowered champions who kind of handled the monopoly of power dynamics. Ascension gave a chance to showcase the other champions in endgame content. So someone like me who got into the game because my favorite champion was animated in a video game. For someone like me, this was an exciting news, because if my favorite champions in the game are ascendable, I could take them up. And since my resources in game are not unlimited for being free to play, I don't have to worry about spending my resources to rank 5 those champions, because they are going to have this added advantage of being ascended. So take Storm Pyramid X for example. She is one of the favorite champions to play in the game, and since she was ascendable, I didn't have to hesitate taking her up to rank 4 ahead of my Deadpool, my Dust and General about 3 months ago. The broader point being that the Ascension gave the player base an extra reason to take up their fun champions if they are ascended, or sometimes gamble with it if they are ascendable. But over time it became obvious that this is not a noble mission to uplift the not so broken champions in MCOC, but it looks more like a new cash cow that Kabam invented. They are kind of proving it with every passing event. Once again, let's start at the top. The Metamorphosis event. Several champions in the likes of Dust and Atuma and Null were added to the Ascension pool during this event. But at this point, it was still fair game if you ask me, because if you care enough about any of these champions, you had the opportunity or the option, I would say, to get those champions. All you have to do was spend your hard-earned units. It was fair. It was fair towards free-to-play players. It was fair towards spenders alike. But this brings me to the second reason I want to point out in this video, which is to lock the Ascension of Armin Zola behind a cash offer. Now, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I firmly believe that players like Liam and Andrew the Rough had the foresight of what was coming. I mean, these are players who occupied high seats in the game. They occupied ranks 1 and 2 in Summoner Showdown recently. They had hundreds of thousands of units left in their account, and they decided to leave the game at the launch of Ascension. Now that tells you something, right? It took Kabam just a little over 4 months since the launch to paywall a champion's Ascension. I mean, if this is the case on a normal weekend, then what happens on a cyber weekend? Like, seriously. Now let me be absolutely clear. I love Armin Zola. I love his design. He is one of those champions whose design makes him annoying, but once you know his kit, you don't need a specific champion to beat him. I mean, with a little skill and blessing from the RNG, of course. A wide range of options are at your disposal, and that includes non-overpowered champions. So by no means he's a Serpent or a Dark Phoenix. Now obviously Kabam knows this, right? So for me the real ominous part is thinking to figure out whether Kabam is testing the waters with this new approach. Imagine that this new approach goes successful with Armin Zola. who do you think is going to be next? That's the ominous part for me. Now, talking about successful sales, to me the third reason why the release of Zola is an absolute disaster is the actual cash offer itself. Is the deal worth it? Let's take a look. So the Ascension of Armin Zola is essentially in the form of a box, which is effectively a roll of dice, and each roll of dice can be done with a key. And each key costs you $20, and this is the only way you can get a key. Unlike previous events, there is no free key, there is no key available for units. You have to spend real money to get the keys. And what are your odds? Let's take a look. Out of 18 chances, there are 3 in your favor. There are 3 chances out of 18 that could get you an Ascended Zola. What about the other 15? Well, the other 15 combined gives you 67 Empowered Grace Crystals, 9 Tech Ascension tokens, and 500 Tier 2 dust. So $20 a piece is over $350. And you're telling me you can't even get a single Grace Crystal there? You don't have a guaranteed Ascension chance after spending $350? You're telling me technically someone could spend $300 and end up with not a single Ascended champion? I mean, nobody's going to stop at 300. If you're that unlucky, you're going to spend that extra $60 and get the Ascended to Armin Zola, but that's not the point. It's such a terrible value for your buck. Now I know there are people out there who got extremely lucky. In fact, shout out to my alliance mate, Fortune88. He actually spent $20 on a single key and he got his Armin Zola Ascended. So congrats to him, and congrats to anybody out there who got extremely lucky. But this is rare. This is very rare, and that's besides the point. The point is that this is very low odds for the amount you spend, and I kind of feel bad for the spenders. Take any other game out there. I mean, imagine how much value you get in-game for spending $300. And I don't mean to be hyper-specific. I know there are good deals in MCOC once in a while, but I just hope this is not a drift in the wrong direction. I can see a noticeable shift in the community with the spenders boycotting in protest, and it's understandable. I play this game free to play and free of stress, and even if you are a spender, I recommend you save up for the big 3. You save up for the July 4th, you save up for the Cyber Weekend, and you save up for the banquet, because the house always wins, and you have to make sure that you draw the line where you must. So that's pretty much what I want to highlight in this video, guys. So I've been thinking about making a video on Ascension for quite some time, because it's made a reasonable shift in how the game is progressing, and I had good and bad things to say about it. But with the launch of Armin Zola's Ascension, I felt like that was like a nail in the coffin, and I kind of wanted to use that as Exhibit A to share my thoughts. It's actually kind of funny how we are not talking about the divide between free to play and spending in this game anymore. We are talking about the divide between free to play elders and elders who are spenders. Even though it's just been a few months since the launch of the title, the divide between spenders and free to play players have been so widening, and it's kind of getting worse with each event that's passing by. And if this is a sign of things to come, if the launch of Armin Zola's Ascension is any sign of things to come, then it's only going to get worse. I mean, like I speculated, if Kabam is testing the waters with the release of Armin Zola in this mode as an Ascended character, then let's brace ourselves for what's coming next, guys. It's going to be fun. So, closing thoughts, I would say, even though it's fair for Kabam to modify this game in any way they want, I think it just feels a bit wrong. The way the Ascension is paywalled, it feels a bit wrong. And I believe the community sentiment is predominantly resonating with that thought. It's how fast-paced these changes are happening, it's how they are paywalled behind a cash-only offer, and it's how little value you get for the amount of money you spend. It's a combination of all of it. So I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. This is how I feel about the whole situation. Thank you for watching, and I'm so curious to know your thoughts. Please do let me know in the comment section whether you are a free-to-play player, whether you're a spender, and how these changes have impacted you or your alliance mates, and what are you going to do about it. That's going to do for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Let me know your feedbacks. I'll see you in another one. Take care. Bye.